Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. It's Paulie Esther here, and today I want to talk to you about one aspect of the public test build that Steam players are going to be able to test sometime this week. And the thing I want to talk to you about specifically is called the finishing Mori. Now this is something that Dead by Daylight talked to us about during the anniversary stream, where every single game would have the potential to end in a Mori if the last survivor was downed in-game and did not escape. So let's look at this a little more closely for those of you who did not read the developer update about this and see the exact way that the finishing Mori would be initiated. So here on the developer blog post, it says, last standing. When all of the survivors are dead, dying, hooked, or have escaped, you become the last standing, and both your and the killer's senses are heightened, granting you a wider field of view. Rescuing a survivor will end the last standing phase, but being downed as the final survivor, on the other hand, will trigger the finishing Mori. When the last survivor is downed, the trial will draw to a climactic end, and both the survivor and the killer will be moved to a preset point on the map, free of any obstructions that may get in the way, and the killer's Mori animation will begin. Any survivor still in the trial will be killed by the entity and treated like a sacrifice. So it's almost like a cutscene that it's going to, when you down that last survivor, it's going to go to this cutscene in this predetermined location, and it's going to have the killer perform their Mori on the survivor. So I like this idea. I think it's going to make games go more quickly, and yeah, I'm interested to see how it plays out and exactly what this cinematic is going to look like. Is it going to be the Moris that we already have, or are they, since they're working on these preset locations, are they working on specific rigging for these Moris in these locations? So I have always believed that killer cosmetics don't sell as well as survivor cosmetics. It's just the way I feel about it, my gut feeling. I don't know for sure. I haven't seen statistics and if that bears out to be true, but I always thought that fewer killer cosmetics are sold purely because killers played in first person mode, and you can really only ever see your weapon. You can't see what you are wearing when you're in the game. You can get brief glimpses of it when the game first starts and they do a spinorama to show you your character before you go into first person mode, to show you what map you're on, where you're at on that map. And then you get to see yourself again on the scoreboard when you're running through the fog and it shows the tally results. But really in game, you don't get a good look at yourself, except when you're performing a Mori. You can see yourself with that, right? For the most part. So in recent memory, all of the more recently created killers have third-person Moris. The early characters do not. I think out of the first 12, there's only one character that has a third-person Mori, which is the Hag. All of the other Moris are performed first-person. I'm very curious to see if that is going to remain the same once this finisher Mori comes in, because I think that, I don't know if it's intentional or it may just be a byproduct of design, if they are changing these Moris for these cinematics at the end of the game to third-person Moris, that would be another opportunity for you to see your character and, you know, show yourself off to yourself, and that might inspire more cosmetic sales. Perhaps that might be their intention. Maybe it's just something that would happen organically because of this Mori change. There also might be the opportunity to sell different Moris to people. I have often said that I think that Dead by Daylight is leaving money on the table by not introducing alternate Moris that you could equip and you could buy them in the shop, because as I said, I always felt that like killers got the short end of the stick as far as seeing their cosmetics, and that maybe buying Moris would be a more interesting thing to them. So maybe this is going to open the doorway towards getting different Moris for survivors. You would have these different finishing kill moves that you could buy and equip because they would be automatic in game, right? One of the things that would have been holding back selling Moris was that you needed to do an offering. You need to put on an offering just to be able to maybe perform your Mori. So now if every game can end in a Mori, makes it more attractive to buy mories, in my opinion anyway. And they don't even necessarily have to be bought. I would also like to see them on rifts where you could earn it. If you went through the rift, you could earn a new Mori. That would also be a cool thing that you could get. Just by playtime, you could unlock a Mori to equip on your killers. And so I think that this could be the initial framework for some kind of an idea like that that would help, you know, generate revenue for Dead by Daylight. And I know there's some of you out there that are like, oh yeah, it's all about money. Well, I mean, they're a for-profit company, and I think personally I always want to see the company doing well financially, because that helps them make the game better, because they can hire more people, pay more people, etc., blah blah blah. You may not agree, but that's my standpoint on it. So I've always said that I want Dead by Daylight to do well financially, because I think it helps the game. So this might be an aspect where they can, just as an aside, sell more cosmetics if they do have these cinematic mories for everybody. And maybe perhaps also sell new mories. Now, what could these new mories look like? They could be changing some of the base ones naturally, or they could be created from scratch. So some examples of different mories that we have already seen would be all of these ones from NetEase that are on mobile, which are different versions of the mories. And by the way, Behavior is adopting NetEase's version of mobile and porting that over for the rest of the world instead of just Southeast Asia. So presumably the NetEase mobile mories that we're seeing are going to be the mories that they have on mobile worldwide eventually. So it would make sense to have the opportunity, at least, to port some of these mories over to core game. Anyway, let's look at some of those now. Okay, so I think I have 5 of them here. This isn't all of them, but it'll give you a good sampling size. And this one is actually posted by Dead by Daylight Mobile for the Oni. So we know that they're incorporating the NetEase mobile mories into worldwide mobile here. Or Dwight. Oof. So you can see mobile on that tagline there. Next we've got Meg here. She gets smacked down. This is actually the Greek Legends Trapper. Oh, it's Feng Min's the one that's going to have a bad time here. And Trapper just pulls this trap out. Again, this is a third-person Mori, and just saddles that trap right on her head. Next we have this Clown Mori where his whole body is a jack-o'-lantern. Oof, right through the eye. Oh my. Yeah, that's a whole other story about whether or not we can get the NetEase cosmetics on core game here. I would love to see that. Here's the Plagues, and this is an alternate one here where instead of the vomit, she just winds up using the chain off her sensor to choke out the survivor. So that would be like an alternate version you could have. And then finally we have this alternate for the Trickster where he just gets him right in the middle of the forehead with one of his knives and then just taps it into place with his bat there. So these are all interesting concepts of potentially new mories we could get. I'm very curious to see in the PTB though if they have changed those first 11 out of 12 characters to make those mories third person. I hope they do. I think that will be better for the game on you know, a number of fronts. So, but that's all I have for you today. As always, I appreciate the time that you spend here with me on my channel. Don't forget to take care of each other in and out of the fog, and we'll see you next time. Oh, by the way, when the PTB does go live, whenever that'll be, I'll be streaming it on Twitch if you want to come over and see what happens with this finisher Mori situation live. So, love to see you there. Anyway, have a great day. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
It's a Gen Rush life for us. It's a Gen Rush life for us. Set a hiding, we do gens. Set a randoms, we got friends. It's a Gen Rush life.